Hello everyone, welcome to ET Telecom. I am Mansi Taneja, Associate Editor. We have with us Mr. Girish Bhatia, who is Senior Director, India Head, Sales Engineering for Ciena. Welcome to this.
I'm Mansi.
So it's been 1 year to the 5G launch. We have seen the fastest rollout of 5G by telecom operators, but we are yet to see any substantial use cases. Could you elaborate a bit on the use cases that you see the uptake going forward?
Sure. We have to understand that we have launched 5G at a very fast pace. Now, use cases in 5G have two categories,
Right.
B2B and B2C. B2B is for businesses, B2C is for consumers. If you look at B2B, and please we have to keep this in mind that everything that we roll out needs to result in revenue and income for operators. So B2B is one such scenario where you will see a lot of growth in FWA.
Right.
Now, when I say FWA, that's not only limited to, let's say, the service providers. FWA is also for industries. And using this use case, you will see a lot of bandwidth being available for the last mile user. Can be an industry, can be a simple mobile user who's watching video on the front end, or can be somebody using gaming. So this is the biggest use case that I see that will actually proliferate once you move forward on 5G. That's B2B. But if you look at B2C, B2C has got various segments. Video is one. India has 300 million households, right? Content is something that everybody latches on, and that's something that everybody wants.
Right.
So that's kind of I would not say low-hanging fruit, but that's kind of a revenue stream that operators will need to actually tap on.
Right.
Because we require support for technology to be deployed. So that's the first thing. Then any other gaming or interactive use cases, that's what you'll see on the horizon that's coming up next. If I see next is the biometrics. Now, when I talk about biometrics, people only think about fingerprints. That's not how it is progressing. It's progressing to facial recognition and also to a lot of speech recognitions and also with respect to retina recognitions. And this will require a lot of bandwidth.
Right.
So FWA is one thing that will actually help in bringing this up. Let me also tell you one of a very interesting use case. A lot of people uses cards, right?
Right.
There is an insurance company and there are various insurance companies who are working on a module where today if there's an accident or mishap that happens, you just click a photo and a video and upload it to a particular server. Now this will require a lot of 5G bandwidth for the end user because then the computers at the server would decide your claim and it will be faster. So these are certain use cases that are actually coming out. And if you look at fintech, banking, would revolutionize, right? Look at the payment system, the payment gateways that we have. The time it takes for payments to happen is instantaneous, right? Plus all the transactions that are happening. So I think 5G gradually is kind of building, and we have come a long way from 2G to where we are now at 5G.
Right.
And the more bandwidth you throw at consumers, they will find a way to consume that. It is just that it needs to be economical. It needs to be productive for the SMEs doing this. So I see 5G growing in a very big way as B2B as well as B2C as well.
Right. Right. Any estimate when do you see the biggest update? You've been talking about MWA. We have just started seeing some glimmers of hope with MWA.
So there is, because we have to understand that for a new use case to come up, it requires a lot of analysis.
Right.
Whatever use cases that we saw for the insurance, it requires a lot of software stack. Now, this software stack is available at different layers. As an infra provider, as an OEM, when I work with my partners, the biggest challenge that I see is being able to connect those infra pieces. Now, if I am able to connect a team of software developers to somebody who's developing the application, to somebody who's doing the compute, so this is going to take time.
Right.
And only once the analysis of such scenarios gets completed, you will see more and more use cases coming up. For example, everybody's talking about generative AI. Now, people are forgetting generative AI doesn't come first. First is the inference piece, where a small AI starts, my algo kind of understands different scenarios, and then the generative part comes and is able to take that smarter decisions. So yes, it's going to take time. But if you really kind of look at the backdrop, if I compare the pace at which what we have achieved on 5G as compared to other countries, we are still faster.
Right.
And I think in the next couple of years, with government also getting involved, especially what Modi ji said, you will see more and more use cases popping up and
Okay.
also providers putting an effort to build that kind of infrastructure, to build that kind of open systems. I'm not only talking about transfer, but open system in terms of interconnectivity or cooperation.
Right.
So once these things are going to be available, you will see more and more use casing popping up, and end users getting used to those use cases.
Right.
That's a given.
Right, great. So Ciena is a global leader in this space. So if you could elaborate on bit on how you are collaborating with local partners here to help them in this transformative journey to 5G.
Absolutely. I think the one thing different that Ciena does is being able to understand the actual usage of the network that HP is designed. Being able to understand where are different service points, where are different aggregation points, and where are different distribution points. So we work closely with our partners where we try and understand these analogies and design, and not exactly design, but define capacities at various layers or define conversion to various layers so that we are able to cater to all these needs.
Right.
For example, if I have a compute sitting at the center, if I have, let's say, a B2B case or a B2C case, my definition of the network would be very different. A B2C case would be a distributed network where I'll require not very high capacity at the ends, but more capacity where I'm doing the compute. Similarly, if I look at a gaming solution, or let's say an FWA solution, I'll require more bandwidth, more capacity at the edge as compared to that goes on the gateway side. So this is the difference that we bring in. And we are also looking at how we converge the cost of technology deploy. One of the important things that Ciena is doing is looking at converging various layers, making it very simple, making a network very flat, so that our end users get that technology at a lower cost, because that's what will help SPs to kind of reduce cost and overhead and deploy this flat network or converge net. So that's what at Ciena we are continuous.
Great. So we've been talking about all the positives till now. So what are the challenges do you think that are there, in that exist in the market for a successful launch of 5G?
I think the biggest challenge that I see is, I will not say lack of openness, but the time it's taking to reach there. See, let's understand, because there are various ecosystems, as we said. There's software platforms, there's application. And for a successful deployment, all these need to talk to each other.
Right.
And that can only happen if I open APIs for all the different layers, bring it to a centralized location, and I'm able to analyze everything. So I think this is going to be the biggest challenge. And let's say if we have an ecosystem to do this, I need the infra as well. Because let's say for an example, our software team sits in Guru. Certainly there'll be an application team for some company who sits in Pune, in Bangalore. I cannot move everything at one location. I'm going to use cloud for this. Can be public, can be private. So to bring everything at a single platform, I need to build the infra around this, and I need to have the openness where these different layers can talk to each other. So I think that's the biggest challenge that we see right now. The openness, the time it's taking, and the infra required to support this openness. I think this is going to be addressed slowly and gradually as we speak.
Yeah, that was very interesting. That brings us to the end of this discussion. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.